Okay, yeah, so we're live now. Good evening, everyone, and it's indeed a great pleasure to be hosting the next edition of the Ecoist of Technology webinar. I'm Victor, and I manage programs and learning at Eco Innovation Center and Ecoist of Technology. So Ecoist of Technology is a learning institute that is focused on building and fostering tech talent here in Nigeria and across Africa as well. And one of the models we've used so far is building learning programs around tech, like product design, product management, data analytics, cybersecurity, and so on and so forth. And our masterclasses and webinars are one of the ways we give out to the community to learn how to get into tech and also upskilling and reskilling to be a part of the tech ecosystem. And it's indeed a great pleasure to be having here with you great and amazing people in tech, people from experts in the field of data science, experts in the field of product marketing, as well as product management. And I believe these are key areas that a lot of people have been, looking forward to or working toward breaking into. I get a lot of folks reach out to me saying they want to break into product management, but they don't know how to go about it. I see people wanting to go into data analytics, data science, but they don't understand, the nuances as to becoming a data scientist or becoming a data analytics. I see people, seeing the new field of product marketing and being like, oh, what's the difference between product marketing, product management? How can I become a product marketer? And this is why we are hosting this section, this being the first month of 2023, a lot of people looking at, upskilling themselves and reskilling themselves year 2023, but don't understand how to go about it. So this webinar is very, very important and very crucial at this time. So before going on to introduce our guest speakers here with me, who will be sharing out of their wealth of experience and knowledge on today's theme of building or kickstarting and advancing a career in tech. So this webinar is actually designed for, folks that are looking at getting into tech, and also folks that are in tech already, but looking at advancing their career in tech. So if you are probably a newbie in tech or a newbie data analytics or data analyst, and you are looking at becoming a senior or becoming a professional, this webinar is, is something you really love to be a part of. And for data's sake, Nigeria and Africa have a rapidly growing population and a significant need for technology skilled workers. And I could see a data saying that there will be a need to upskill and reskill between now and 2025 because there's the skill gap that needs to be filled. So to not digress further, I'll be introducing our guest speaker. We have Vincent Mayaki, who is a product manager with Jabu here with us on the call. We also have Brian Okechukwu, who is a senior data scientist with Andela, as well as Temilade Adelakun, who is an associate product marketing manager with Google. And it's indeed a pleasure to have you all be a part of this section, and also for our speakers for taking your time to, want to help young people get into tech, want to help share your experience with them. So I'm just going to give the speakers, the audience, to introduce themselves. I don't know, Vincent, if you'd like to go first to introduce yourself to the audience as we get started. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Thank you, Victor. Thanks for the opportunity. Hi, guys. My name is Vincent. My name is Vincent Mayaki. I am a product manager with Jabu Technologies. Basically started my career in technology in 2013, 14. I started off, really as an evangelist, just selling technology products, and eventually started to build technology products. And I spent the last few years discovering, planning, and developing B2B and B2C products across multiple industries. Currently work with Jabu. Jabu is a technology startup located in Southern Africa. So we have about 3 African countries where we operate in the south of Africa, and we're a startup that just powers the way businesses, SMEs, and MSMEs source and stock their products. We're basically disrupting the last mile distribution through and supply chain. Thank you. Really nice being here.
All right, thank you for that brief introduction, Vincent. I'll pass it on to Temilade Adelakun. Would you like to introduce yourself to the
Sure. Hi guys, good evening. My name is Temilade. I do product marketing at Google, and over the past few years, I've done things around product management, data, as well as programs management. And what I presently do at Google is just to help. My role as a product marketer at Google is just to leverage data and marketing insights to better understand consumers and create value for our users. And each and every one of you on this call is are one of our users, because indirectly you are using Gmail or Google search or Google Assistant or anything. So my goal is just to sort of know your pain points more, make your life better, make Google very helpful and useful for you. Yeah, I'm really excited to be here. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that introduction, Temilade. I'll pass it on to our third speaker, Brian.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Thanks, Victor, for the opportunity. My name is Brian. I'm a senior data scientist at Andela. I'm currently embedded with one of Andela's partners as a solutions lead for marketing mix analytics at a company called IRI. The company is known for big data predictive analytics in terms of marketing insights. And we work with companies like, we work with retailers, CPG companies, healthcare, and so on and so forth to make sense of their marketing spend and their ad efforts across all boards of their marketing line. So typically what I do, my day-to-day there is more of I would say it's more of a project management role, although I still do the typical day-to-day coding, but I manage more of the junior data scientist. And what we typically look out for is we try to make sense of the data in terms of ad spend. We try to look for trends. Using different algorithms to find patterns in which we can help companies optimize their budget, and also help them to give an overall view of what marketing drivers are working and not working, and how they can adjust it to get the best possible outcome for the success of their business. So I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you very much, Brian. It's been a pleasure to hear about your work and what you do with Andela and your partner company. Okay, so I think we can just dive into the business of today. My first question would be what inspired you to pursue a career in tech? I think I'll pass that on to Temilade, but before then, I'd like to know what inspired you to pursue a career in tech, and how did you get started in the industry? Because I realized that many people nowadays want to go into tech, and some are not even interested in any career in tech. Some feel like, okay, tech is that kind of abstract kind of profession that is just meant for geniuses or people that are just way too smart. Some people feel they don't have the capacity to do something relating to tech, either as a software engineer, as a data scientist, as a product manager, and all of that. So I would like to understand your journey as to what inspired you to pursue a career in tech, and how did you get started in the industry?
Awesome. Thank you, Victor. So I think while I was in like my second year in school, I have a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering. And from my second year in school, I felt like school was very theoretical and it wasn't practical. And I couldn't relate to a couple of things. It was more of school at some point became maybe the lecturer expected you to just cram something and pour it back. And personally, I'm naturally a very curious person. I like to know the why, the what, the how, and not just give it to you back as you're giving it to me. So from like my second year in school, I sort of had an idea that I was going to go into tech, even though I wasn't so clear on what I wanted to do. I remember in my second year in school, so out of curiosity, I just started like checking the internet and what are the future of works. I started hearing those terminologies in my second year in school, like, oh yeah, this future of works everybody's talking about. What does it include? This is my mechanical engineering. How does it align with it and a couple of other things? Then I just knew, okay, tech was very important when it comes to future of works. So from my second year in school, I started like a front end web training with a couple of folks in school. Honestly, it was going pretty well. You know, HTML is very simple. Hello, your CSS, you change it to color blue, your website becomes blue. And I was so excited that, yes, I'm a tech sis. Let's keep going and things like that. But along the line, after like my second year, I realized that I was already very good, but I think I asked myself, do I really see myself being like a front end designer as like a career, as a web developer as a career? And I felt no, I didn't want to do that. So along the line, I honestly didn't give up on my mechanical engineering dream. I wasn't honestly just social. I was in between engineering and tech. So I did my penultimate year, what's this thing called? Penultimate year internship in an oil and gas firm for 6 months. And that was when I concluded that I was definitely leaving engineering. It was a very big oil and gas firm, and everybody expected that, oh, I was going to come back excited. Yes, I came back excited, but I came back with clarity that this engineering thing, I don't think I want to continue because I felt things where my internship was very, I hate, it was very monotonous. Things I was just doing the same thing over and over again, and I was bored. So I just concluded after this mechanical engineering degree, I was going to move into tech. But regardless, I still ensured I finished the first class. And the reason why I'm emphasizing this on this call is, again, sometimes we say that I want to do this, I want to do something else. I want to do tech, but I'm in agric engineering, I'm in biology. I think whatever is worth doing well. Whatever you're presently doing, just do it and do it well while you're still like putting your energy on that other thing you're interested in. So when I finished school, along the line, there was a part I missed. When I finished my penultimate year internship, I started learning Python because I just wanted to do data at some point. I was very crazy about data. So I started learning Python. And when I finished school, I started my first job was an internship as a data analyst. And it was going pretty well. That was, I think, towards the pandemic. But I think along the line again, I wasn't getting some sense of fulfillment. And I will say the reason why I'm mentioning some of these important points. So I told myself, Demlade, calm down. I know you want to do tech, but what aspect of tech do you want to do? Are you just saying you want to do, are you saying you want to be a machine learning engineer because it's a big buzzword and it sounds so big? Is that what you really want to do? Is it your personality? Does it fit your personality? I'm someone that I like to talk to people. I like to engage things. Does a career that just requires me sitting on my laptop and coding all day, is that something that fits my personality? So I had to ask myself very serious questions. Along the line, I was getting clarity in the sense that I now knew things I didn't want to do, but I wasn't so sure what I wanted to do. So I remember one day I was speaking with a senior mentor during the pandemic. I'm like, okay, I think I want a career that is at the intersection of business, tech, and management. So it was like, okay, have you heard of product management? And I'm like, no, I've never heard of that. And I was disappointed because I thought I was very smart and I knew everything that's happening in tech, but I've never heard of product management in my life as a 2020. And then I was like, good. I did some Google research about it, went for like a boot camp. Why am I saying all of these things? Because I know that time is fast and I should summarize what I am saying. I just want to take you through my journey so you know how I got to where I am right now. And the point of one thing that really helped me and has been helping me and is still helping me so far now is I ask questions a lot. They say closed mouth is a closed destiny. When I'm never shy to, open my hands down and let you say, this is the problem I am having. Can you find a solution to my problem? I wouldn't keep my mouth shut and just pretend that, hey, everything is fine with me. I always try to open up to people so that they could help me. So it was this mentor that told me about product management. And then I did like a boot camp on product management. And I was like, okay, now I think I'm ready. Let me go and get a product management job. That was how I started applying and I was getting rejections. At some point, I'm like, maybe this product management is not for me. So along the line, I didn't give up on my dream, to be honest. One thing I kept doing was my friends that had startup, I was shadowing them. I would shadow for free, just act like a product manager on their team for free. I was learning. I knew that was going to pay off for me in the long run, so I didn't mind. I had my programs management job at the side while I was like helping my friends shadow their startup as a product manager, and things were going fine. I shouldn't lie, it was frustrating at some point. How come I'm applying, I'm putting on my CV the skills I have and everything, but things were not coming through. But I didn't give up. It was just that consistency. I kept posting about things I was doing on LinkedIn. Every time I get to speak with someone, hey, I'm still interested in product management. In case you have an opportunity in your firm or you hear anything, please send them my way and things like that. And now, along the line, I finally got a product management job, and it was someone I spoke to 2020 during the pandemic. I just told the person that, hey, I was interested in product management. And then 1 year later, I remembered me. He started a startup in Nigeria, and I remember that, hey, this young girl mentioned that she was interested in product management. That was how I got my first product management job. But I didn't stay too long there because I got a Google job. How did I get the Google job? It was via LinkedIn. Again, all the things I've been posting maybe many years ago, they are now, I was now reaping the fruit of those consistency, for lack of a better word. So it was more like the recruiter reached out to me on LinkedIn. Hey, young lady, we see your profile, we like it, blah, blah, blah. Do you want to work? Do you want to work with us as product marketer? Initially, I wanted to say no, let me be very honest, because I felt like I already had my product management job and I was very happy. And I didn't know what product marketing was as at that time. And again, that comes to talking to people. I spoke with people. Hey, I spoke with, of course, in talking to people, it doesn't mean just anyone, friends that I could confide in that, hey, a recruiter reached out to me. She's saying product marketing, but I think I like product management. And that is what I am doing. And then one of the persons I spoke to was like, Temlade, I think you are putting yourself in a box. As a product marketer, you get to interact with product managers. And in the long run, why not you even try product marketing? Maybe in the long run, you can get to switch after like few years in your company. So again, having good people that we can share our career concerns with to give us advice is honestly very important. I would lie if I say I've not been a beneficiary of people just advising me on my career decisions. It's been very helpful. And my friend convinced me to just like go on with my interview process, and that product marketing is not super far from product management because I still get to like interact with product managers as a product marketer. And that was how I went through the application process. And then I got into Google. And now I work as a product marketer. Every day on a day-to-day, I'm having conversations with product managers, and I'm not far from what I'm presently doing. I remember what I said initially in 2020. I wanted a career that was intersection of tech management and business. And I think that's what I presently do at Google. So yeah, that's how I got into tech and how I got into Google.
Wow, thank you for giving such a detailed, you know, explanation on what's really inspired you to pursue a career in tech. I think you were able to beat it down to how you pursue a career in tech and how you were also able to break into the field of product marketing. And it's kind of inspiring. You know, a lot of folks. I even have someone who studied medicine and surgery in school and currently is a senior product designer. So at the end, many people get to understand and know their passion as to what they really want to do. And there are lots of exciting careers in tech that many people can, you know, break into and really find what they really love doing. And it's very exciting to hear about your journey. So I'm just going to pass it on now to Vincent on, you know, share with us how what inspired you to pursue a career in tech and how you became a product manager with Jabu Technologies. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys. So 1 second. Right. So for me, I started off when I was done with university. I started off being an enthusiast of technology. What I mean by that is I was evangelizing and selling e-commerce technology to B2B companies. At that point, I just knew that there was an opportunity to work with a technology company. I wasn't thinking technology at first. I was just thinking of value, right? I had this value-driven mindset. I had a senior colleague then who just had said to me that, hey, man, we have this product. We need to get clients to use it. And I had started working in that role. And, you know, had that experience for a while, but I always noticed a gap, and then eventually became really dissatisfied with this gap, right? It was a gap between what the customers wanted and what the business wanted, right? And there was always this dissatisfaction that customers have when the product is brought their way and it doesn't satisfy their needs. And for me, I was always that guy who was always very persistent about how we need to improve our offerings, improve our value propositions. And I guess eventually, sometime in 2015, my CEO or founder then had just said, you know what, Vincent, I need you to work as a PM for the product and ensure that we achieve client satisfaction and ultimate success. And at that point, again, I had zero understanding as to what he wanted. But the truth is, everything compounds. My interest in technology started because technology I always saw it as a lever or a leverage to solving human problems. And I was always excited about being a problem solver, right? So given the opportunity to start understanding what customers wanted and being able to convey that knowledge to people who were building products or the engineers who were actually working on developing the solution was really how the journey started for me. And ever since then, it's just been a very exciting experience. Waking up every day and, just breathing in the fresh air, knowing that there's a challenge out there that is going to come your way when you step into the office or when you get a phone call from a client saying, hey, then I love the product, I love what it's doing, but I need it to do X, Y, Z. And yeah, that has been it. And the inspiration came because of the gap, and the inspiration continues, right, because of the opportunity that lies in this field. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, that's exciting to hear about your journey, Vincent. Yeah, thank you. I think I'll be passing it on now to Brian. I think Brian has been in the tech space for a while now, and I think your background even kind of relates to something around tech, if I'm not mistaken, something around information and communication and technology. So I would like to know what inspired you to pursue a career in tech. Is it something you had in mind from the onset to do something in tech, and how did you get started as a data scientist? Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Victor. So yeah, you're right. I've been in tech since I was a teenager, to be honest. So for my undergrad, you're right as well, I studied information and communication engineering. So I always had the vision of being a cybersecurity engineer, an ethical hacker, purely because of I used to see people in movies and what they did was so cool to me. So I always wanted to follow that route of hacking and so on and so forth. But I would say also during my IT, back when I was doing my undergrad, I had my first job there, and I was an end user support analyst in Etisalat. And it was kind of different because I always wanted to do like cybersecurity stuff, but there were no openings at that point in time. But Etisalat was a telecoms company and I wanted to get experience there. So I'm like, why not? So I've also had like a passion for math. I like math, algebra, statistics, and all. So the role was kind of had that within it in one way or the other in terms of when we're like collecting feedback and everything. So that's really where my mind started to shift generally towards the data field. I still had a love for cybersecurity at that point, but I started getting this shift because playing around with numbers and seeing how numbers could actually solve problems, real life problems, not just theoretically like how we did in school, was really interesting to me. Fast forward, I graduated from university. I got a role just before NYC, a short role to kind of improve on the data analysis skills I had picked up when I did my IT. It was a short time. I did that, then post IT for my NYC. I kind of moved back to a cybersecurity role, a network security engineering role, but a network security engineering role that still had an analytical aspect to it. Is a role in which I had to solve network issues, but I still had to have that analytical sense. So one way or the other, I always tell people it's like, I would say I was an analytical security engineer more than just a network security engineer. So that was a period that like solidified my sense in the data field. And at that point in time, I already probably had total maybe a year plus 2 years experience from the data field as well. Then my next role, I decided to kind of take it a bit further and to advance in the field. And back then, data science was still a field that was coming up. In fact, like Temilade said, machine learning was just a buzzword, to be honest. Most people did not know how to actually implement it, but it just sounded cool. When you hear machine learning, you think robots walking around and everything. But I won't lie, I also had that love for it, but more of the fact that I wanted to see like how the underlying algorithms behind it worked. That's what pushed me to now advance my career from being a data analyst to data scientist. Maybe it's something I could briefly talk about later on in this call, about people starting up in the field that kind of jumped the gun straight to data scientist and they missed the analytical step. So I moved in there, worked as a data scientist for about 3 years plus. At that point in time, I had already amassed maybe to about roughly 5 years in the data field before I now got a job at Andela as a senior data scientist. And yeah, so I would say it's more of a passion for math and solving problems that brought me towards this field. That is actually what is keeping me going in this field. And I mean, as we can all see around us, machine learning AI is really becoming a rampant field. We can see from ChatGPT and other AI technologies that we're seeing popping up everywhere. So I feel it's a field that is still relatively new compared to software engineering and the rest, but it's a field that is one for the future. And yeah, I'm happy I took that step back then.
All right, thank you very, very much for that elaborate, sharing of your experience of how you get to where you are now as a senior data scientist and how you were able to, I think it's just like a progression. So many people actually see a lot of people on LinkedIn, oh, senior product manager at this, and they think it was just, going for a 3-month boot camp and all of a sudden they become a senior product manager. That's the notion, a lot of folks, because, getting into tech is now like the world out there now. Almost like a large number of people are now interested in tech, and because they have this notion that, okay, there's money in tech. I could remember like some years back, many people go into tech because they feel like they have passion for this thing. They want to do this thing. They really want to do this thing, regardless of whether there is money in tech or you want to be a big boy, go into tech and all of that. But the new wave now is, oh, you tech money, get into tech. I see a lot of people, oh, I want to become a tech bro. What tech skill do you think I can learn that by next year I'll start cashing out in dollars? Because there's a friend of mine working with Facebook, working with Google, and is earning $1,000. Like, just tell me one of those skills I can learn. These are questions that, we kind of get very often. I want to get into tech. Oh, and I tell them it's a progression. It takes time. It takes a lot of, work, putting in the work, trying to get the requisite skills and all of that, and upskilling, reskilling. I will see people, professionals, and I believe you all will agree with me that even when you are a senior, you still need to keep upskilling and reskilling yourself, because there are a lot of, there are trends in the tech ecosystem that, as a professional, you need to be able to understand the latest developments. So my next question will go to Temilade. What do you consider to be the most important skills for success in the tech career? So, for instance, I'm wanting to go into a tech, I'm a newbie in tech, I want to get into tech. What do you think are some of the important skills? I think basically soft skills for success in the tech career.
Awesome. Thank you, Victor. And plus one to everything Brian and Vincent said. There's one thing I want to highlight before I answer this question, if you don't mind. So I feel like Brian, Vincent, and myself, maybe we kind of like already have like a tech background. So I'm wondering, somebody's on the school and is wondering, oh, so what of me that I'm studying English in school? How do I like eventually get into this tech thing? To be honest, just like Victor mentioned a couple of minutes ago, I personally know some friends and acquaintances that I have. They don't have anything science related in their background, and they're amazing software engineers, amazing product marketers, amazing product managers, amazing data analysts. I think that I would just advise that everyone be true to yourself. Don't do something because that's where the big money is now. I mean, be very, very true to yourself. Like, just do like a SWOT analysis of yourself. What do I like doing? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? Me, I knew I was just going to be a product lady, because when it comes to like talking to people, engaging people, like, what do you like about this? What don't you like about this? Something I find myself doing naturally. Just be true to yourself. Don't run to product management or product marketing because people tell you you will not code and it's a simple one. Hey, if you come with that mindset, you might not have a good career there. Like, just be very open-minded. I want to go into tech, yes. What are the different tech roles? We have technical writers, we have developer advocates, earning cool cash. If your motivation is money, no worries. I'm not even, I don't, people always say it's a bad thing to have money as money. If your motivation is money, fine, but be true to yourself. Even if money is your motivation, what is something that your strength, I mean, the strength and the skills you have, you can apply to in tech. But again, I just want to reemphasize that regardless of your background, I even have people who don't have a bachelor's degree and they are doing super amazingly well in tech. So, dear brothers, sisters, friends, come to tech if you wanna. Just do your research, know what your strengths are and what part of tech kind of like gets you excited, really, that you wake up every day and you're excited to do. Not just even about the money now. You wake up every day, you're excited to go to work because of your role. So I just thought to emphasize that. Now, to answer your question, Victor, around what are these like soft skills needed to, I mean, even be in tech. So one thing I would say is, and let me even come from like a product marketer standpoint, is being like a very good verbal communicator. Uh, even for even software engineers, because as a software engineer, you're interacting with product managers, product designer, product marketers. You need to be able to like communicate well when maybe you have been asked questions around your code or the technicality of a project or a program. So I'll say that verbal communication is a very great skill. And then people mistake I am an introvert and verbal communication as there. You're an introvert does not mean you should not have a strong verbal communication skill. I mean, over the years, you went to primary school, you went to secondary school, you did some degree after, you've been communicating with people, you've done, you defended a project, you spoke, and then, so it's not even about, some people say, oh, maybe tech is not for me because I'm an introvert. No, just being able to communicate what is on your mind. And I also feel like verbal communication is something that can be worked on. Like, if you feel, okay, I think I need to work on my verbal communication skill, that's fine. They're like, there are coaches that could help you get better. So my point is, don't say, oh, I am an introvert, don't take this for me. Tech is for anybody, regardless of if you're an introvert or an extrovert. Just make sure to have a very strong verbal communication skills and you are good. That's one. I think that another one would be being able to communicate and collaborate. In tech, you don't work alone. Almost everybody on this call will tell you that their role involves collaborating with like different teams. At the point when I worked as a programs manager, I was collaborating with the marketing team. I was collaborating even with the engineers, and I was a programs manager. My first role as a data analyst intern, I was collaborating with the sales team. At some point, they handed the sales team to me, and I was very shy. But I mean, collaboration, you just have to collaborate. So if you are someone that you think I don't like, I just like working in, I like being on my own. In tech, you can't be on your own because whatever product or project you're working on is, you just need everybody's hand to be on deck. So I would say that strong collaboration skill is very, very important. And I would also say that I think for any role, regardless, be very customer centric. Where I worked as a product manager before Google, I remember my boss would be like, even the software engineers, we need them to be customer centric. We need them to have the customers in front of their head. So that when they are writing codes, they understand who they are building for. They're not building for robots, you're building for people. So for you to be in tech, you need to be very customer centric. And as much as it sounds like a big grammar or big English, customer centric just means you want to know the core need of someone and you're building something towards the person's need, a solution to that person's need. So be customer centric. And I think that one very important thing, know what's happening in the tech world. Like really, you're interested in tech. I don't know, you don't know that there's something called Chat GPT. My brother, my sister, what are you doing? Like you have to know what's happening around you. I don't have, at some point, I subscribe to a couple of newsletters so that it gets me updated. But let me be very honest with myself. I'll say last year, most of the newsletters I subscribed to, both the paid and the free, I was kind of like swarmed last year. I didn't have enough time to even digest them. But my ears are open on Twitter. My ears are open on LinkedIn. Once in a while, I read a Medium post or something. My point is, even the people I follow online, on what my WhatsApp status, I see my friend put one interesting article. What do you guys, what's your take on this? Have conversations with people around things happening in tech. Of course, don't be shy. From conversations, you get better to know what's happening around you. So if you're interested in tech and you don't even know what's the latest thing that happened this week in the tech world, you are wrong. For me, one of the resolution I'm making this year is that all of those subscriptions I did, the money I spent, both the free and paid, I need to like utilize them and digest more things. Of course, I got information from LinkedIn, Twitter, maybe from friends last year, but this year I want to be more intentional and ensure that I have like all the subscriptions I've made for newsletters that are tech related. I read them maybe on a daily basis, maybe 30 minutes of my time, maybe in traffic, just read them and digest them. And even for companies you think you are interested in, you're interested in Andela, and you're not even following Andela on LinkedIn to even check their post on what is happening in Andela. You are wrong. You're interested in Jab, we don't know what's happening there. You are wrong. Me, I've been following Google since like that 3 years ago or 4 years ago. Like literally, I remember doing my interview, and this is not to boast. I remember during my interview, I was reading out their financial year reports, the last quarter. I know the recruiter was looking at me that, just to show you that I really knew what was happening in that industry. So those are things that, again, when you are doing interviews, you just want to know that you even understand this company you are coming into. You understand what we are doing. You understand what the end goal is. You understand where we are, where we are going to. So please have like a very global mindset about these things. Be very tech savvy, understand what is going on in tech. Why are they using this? Why are they not using that? Why is this company doing this? Why is this company not doing that? I think I will let my other panelists speak, but just to reemphasize, very customer centric, have a very strong verbal communication skills, and these are things that can be worked on. Be very collaborative. You can't do this life on your own, and you can't do tech on your own. And aside that, I will say that also, know what's happening in tech around the world and even in the company you're interested in. Yeah, thanks.
Oh, wow, that was powerful. Thank you very much, Temilade. I think you've even covered some of the questions I might have in mind for you, like for instance, how you get to balance the demands of your job and even tending to grow as a professional as well. You can get swamped in work and to keep up with capacity building and development. Yeah. And that's why it's very important, webinars like these, being a part of, programs like these, checking trends, latest development. Like myself, the trends chat GPT, I didn't get it via a news article or medium that I might have subscribed to. I got it on LinkedIn. So, and there are even some latest development and conversation around open AI projects and even this chat GPT going on. Even a couple of people knows about chat GPT. Some don't even know about some of the extensions that even comes with chat GPT. So these are some of those things I feel many young people can leverage on, take those opportunity. And thanks for sharing around those soft skills that are very crucial. Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, so as I was saying, I said these are some of the important skills that are very, very important and crucial getting into tech or building a career in tech as well. So I would just move on to the next question, which is going to be passed on to Vincent. And that is can you share an advice for people who are just starting out in the tech industry? So what are those advice you give someone that is just starting, as one, getting into tech, and two, as a product manager? I know you being a product manager and with vast years of experience. So I see a couple of people that are willing to get into the field of product management. Temilade has shared some of our own experience and some very notable insights. So what are your own, insight as to people that advice that you like to give to people who are going into product management?
Yeah, thanks, Victor. So I will start with something more generic, and then I'll probably narrow it down to the product management role afterwards. So the first thing is really to play to your strengths, right? You have to pick a field that resonates with your core personalities as a person. Man, know thyself. You need to know exactly the kind of person you are, and pick a field that allows, or a discipline that allows you to excel. Do you like spending time alone? Do you like managing people and coordinating with people? Do you have a knack for paying attention to the tiniest of details, and or do you have a passion for solving problems, staying on a problem and just staying on it until you get it solved? Are you creative? Do you have wild ideas and where you want to create stuff, or when you see something creative, you're just totally drawn to it? You must remember that everything compounds. Everything compounds. Every personality trait you have, every nurture that you grew up with, every class you took, every person you've met, every job you've taken, it all compounds to being the person you are today. So it's important to play to your strengths, and then choose out of the hundreds of fields we have in tech. You can pick something that you can really excel at. Be willing to start small. There's no way you're going to be starting off and then you're expecting to get a senior role or something. My starting off in technology was not building. I started off selling, or rather, I started off scaling, and it's a better word, like scaling technology, right? Helping people to evangelize and scale, and eventually got to a place where I am today, where I'm saddled with the responsibility of building. You have to be humble, ask questions as much as possible. Temilade touched on this. You got to be very enthusiastic about learning. There's so much out there, but be careful not to allow yourself drown in the hundreds of millions of information out there. Just avoid being burnt out with learning too much. And to do that, it will be beneficial if you seek a mentor, right? Just seek a mentor, somebody who can coach you and guide you on what to learn and what not to learn, and how to basically navigate your path. And finally, it helps to stay in communities, right? Technology forums like these, groups, places where you can constantly share your problems, listen to people share their problems. Nobody has two heads. Everybody has 24 hours in a day, and everybody uses the restroom. So practically, you can be anything you want to be. And just to narrow this down specifically to tech, I usually hear a question about how do you break into product management? And my prayer for you is that you don't break into product management. I pray that you grow into the product management role, because you would just end up being broken. I see a lot of people who are PMs that they rant a lot, and I'm like, you're ranting because you broke into this thing, so think about it this way: you're giving the future of an entire baby as a responsibility. You're much more than just an employee. You're a parent. You're a parent to a baby. The head is like your customers in the market. The hands are like your cross-functional team, product and engineering. The legs are like the other teams you deal with, marketing, stakeholders, sales, data analysis, and you're like the torso. You're at the middle of this thing. So it's important for you you have to be really accountable, and for you to succeed, you must have grown into it, learn certain skill sets over a period that eventually compounds to you being able to take a vision and run with it. For product management, you just have to seek learning opportunities. It's one of the quickest ways you can learn. Seek learning opportunities, seek to build something, right? There are a lot of low-code, no-code solutions out there today that can allow you to have an idea and then prototype it, and then start getting customers to use the product, building websites, building mobile applications, just doing things that you don't necessarily have to have a job for you to do, because this eventually will compound when you have your next interview and somebody says, tell me about yourself. And then you go like similarly, you can brag about stuff you've done and read your personal financial, also your personal portfolio and be really excited. So those are some advices I think I'll give. Thanks, man.
Okay, yeah, thanks very much for those great advice. I think one thing I kind of pick out from that is getting a mentor. I think it's very, very important. Very, very important. And I also had Timlade talking about reaching out to some mentor as well at some point in her career when she was trying to get clarity. So yeah, getting a mentor is very important, and it's also a model with also fits into our learning programs at Eco Institute of Technology. So if you are taking a product management program or data analytics program with us, after the program, we merge you with a mentor whereby they coach you and guide you on some nuances, most especially the soft skills aspect to actually, okay, we know you have the technical skills, but there are some important soft skills that will make you succeed in that particular role as a tech professional or as an IT person. And this is something we're very big on as we help to upskill and empower young people with vital skills in tech. So I'll just go on to the next question, which is over to Brian, and that will be sharing with us. I believe there are challenges, there are obstacles. So what are those challenges, obstacles you faced in your career, and how have you overcome them? And I'm talking about obstacles, growing as a data scientist, maybe obstacles learning, maybe obstacles transitioning from one job to another as a data scientist, or from being a junior data scientist to a senior data scientist. And you can also, help with the generic aspect as to some of those obstacles or challenges getting into tech in general. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Victor. So I think I'll start off with the general challenges. This is something that I personally have noticed a lot, and I'm hoping like it can at least reduce or come to a complete end in the tech ecosystem, especially in Nigeria. So one thing I've noticed, and most aspiring techies talk to me about, is the level of gatekeeping in terms of information towards them from more experienced techies in the community. Information sharing is something that needs to be promoted a bit more within our tech ecosystem, because a lot of times it's not only enough for aspiring techies to, be eager to want to learn about a certain field they are trying to go into. They need some sort of guidance, some sort of directions, someone to point the way for them. Okay, you can start off with here and you can progress through here, because it's something I experienced personally when I was starting out as a data analyst, especially when I was transitioning from being a data analyst to a data scientist. The field itself is very vast and broad. It's really broad, and I'm guessing it's the same for most tech roles as well. There's always something you feel you need to learn, especially when you hop on LinkedIn or any other social media platform. There's a lot of information out there, and it can become very overwhelming, especially as someone who is looking to move into the field, to know where to start from, and when you start, where you're going to go to. So I got stuck in the loop at some point with the term of jack of all trades, master of none. I wanted to learn everything. And it didn't help out when you're looking for roles and you hop on LinkedIn and you see some specifications, some job descriptions where you're like, oh my days, I have never seen this before. You're on a current path, on a current field, you're learning a certain course. You you didn't see that course in the job description, you leave it, you go and hop on the job description, the specification there, start learning that. You go back, the job is closed. Now you see the things you were learning before you left out, they are now in the new job description. So it can drive you, it can drive you crazy, and it can be very overwhelming for people that are trying to start out in the field. So one thing, the best way I solved this problem for myself was that I just had this closed mentality. And this is also going to what Vincent said about if you can get a mentor. LinkedIn is a wonderful resource, is a wonder. And Echo Innovation Center also, I like the program you guys are running that attaches you to a mentor. And it helps you a whole lot to give you a streamlined sense. So I just took it upon myself that I was going to check out the different fields in data science. I was going to stick to one field. I was going to perfect this field. I was going to become a master of this field. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to, because you're a master of this field, every other thing is zero to you. You shouldn't have any idea of any other thing. To be honest, even outside the data field, I still try to keep up to date with some trends in other fields like software engineering, even product design, UI, UX, just because of, I mean, tech is one big product on its own. Each department, everybody within that product has a role to play. Having an understanding of each part of that product will help you out when you're solving your own aspect of that problem. So I would say the best way to overcome that particular problem is to have a certain field, like you have a certain field in the career path you want to follow. Stick to that field, learn that field very well, get very well versed in it, that you could wake up in the morning and any question they ask you, you could answer it, but also have just a general understanding of other things within that field. It will help a lot more, and it will help you advance faster in your career, rather than spinning your wheels constantly, trying to learn every single thing that comes out. Now, it's a case of, I'll just give one quick example and I'll round up my part because of time. It's a case of OpenAI, for instance. OpenAI is a very big field in machine learning. It's a very big company in machine learning. Now everybody's seeing it, the products they are producing and everything. So they have a product called Whisper. It's like a speech recognition system and all that. So speech recognition is like something way out of my particular domain. My domain is more of the business, on the business side, but speech recognition has to do more with deep learning and the rest of that. Now, I wanted to quickly run to learn speech recognition, to learn all the technology and everything. And at some point, I noticed I was taking a lot of time towards deep learning, computer vision, and all, because I wanted to create something cool. Because OpenAI is making it cool now, making machine learning cool for everybody. I almost left what I had already focused on for years. And I noticed at one point, I just wanted to write some simple code on like an algorithm that I always produced in a daily. And I couldn't even reproduce it. And so it gets that bad, then it can lead to this form of like mental depression in the sense that I spent like all this while on this, and now just because I wanted to chase this that doesn't really benefit me that much. I mean, it's cool, but it wouldn't really benefit me in the long run because that is not my field. I'm now like deteriorating in my own particular field. So the truth is, stick to what you know, learn about the architecture and everything of any other part that you find cool, do projects on them. It will help you grow. It will help you out. It's perfect, but always try to keep advancing in the specified field you have set out for yourself. That's like my best advice in terms of people that are just coming into in tech in general, because I'm pretty sure in product design, product marketing, there's also that ideology exists. So yeah. Okay.
Wow. Thank you very much, Brian, for that explicit clarification as to some of the challenges and obstacles and how you were able to overcome them. Yeah, I think this kind of relates to other areas in tech as well. even product management, even as a software engineer, and all of that. Yeah, so to not take much of our time, I'll just pass this on to Similade, and that will be what do you see as the future of technology, and how do you see the industry evolving? So the lot of evolution currently going on now in tech, most especially the aspect of emerging technologies, and this calls for massive upskilling and reskilling in this field, because we have to also try as much as possible to move with the evolution. So we could see the aspect of Web 3.0 coming up, and some other new fields in tech. So what do you see as the future of technology? Or some people even say we are currently in the future of tech already. But what do you see as the future of technology, and how do you see the industry evolving? Thank you.
All right, thank you, Victor. So honestly, if I was doing like a bit of reflection some weeks back, and I would say that some of the things we are seeing, some of the things we are seeing and hearing in tech now are things that have been predicted few years ago, or most of the things, or some of the things we are hearing now are things that have been predicted 2 years ago. I mean, the whole chat GPT thing, the whole AI thing, it's not AI. We didn't just hear about AI now. AI, there's been so much noise around AI for as long as I can remember, to be honest. So when it comes to like new tech trends, the one I find exciting, let me start with data. Data would always be, and it's not a new tech trend, but data is always going to be something that will forever be relevant in the tech ecosystem for years to come, to be honest. Because even the whole chat GPT we are talking about, I'm very sure, I mean, they had data. I mean, some of we are pinging the chat bots, is giving us responses. It's using data to like give responses, analyzing those data. So data would always be relevant. I always say this thing, and this is just me. I'm not a Bible. This is just, I always say that even if any other field in tech collapses, which they would not all field in tech will collapse, they will evolve as time goes on. Data will always be very relevant. So if you are saying, okay, I'm looking for a safe space in tech, just go into data. Because even as a product marketer, I play with data once in a while. I'm very sure Vincent, as a product manager, would mention that once in a while he has to like, I mean, before you make decisions as a product manager or a product marketer or a strategy and ops person, you still have to use data. Maybe you analyzing the data yourself or meeting data analyst on your team that, hey, you want to do ABC, can you help us confirm? So data will always be very relevant for years to come. That's one. And now talking about like, I know we know 5G. I have not started using 5G yet. Some folks might have started, but 5G is an important trend in tech now, because for 3G and 4G, we're able to maybe browse the internet, use data-driven services, increase bandwidth, and a couple of other things. But I think that now that we now have 5G, it's kind of going to revolutionize our lives. And revolutionize in what sense? Things like AR and VR, some of the cloud services will become more sophisticated than they were before, and a couple of other things. So 5G is a very good trend to look out for. Data, and of course AI. I am a big fan of, I don't know AI like, I mean, very well. I don't code machine learning and the likes, but trust me, I'm very up to date when it comes to things happening in the machine learning field and AI field. Even right now, I don't know, maybe Vincent can talk about this. When you are checking on LinkedIn, you start seeing Web3 products manager. I'm like, so there's product manager, there's Web3 product manager. Like, I mean, you have to keep your ears on the ground. People, like, again, you might think, oh, I'm a product manager, I'm the top of the world. And there's already something called Web3 product manager. So, I mean, those are like, and this is as a result of the Web 3.0, crypto, blockchain, and a couple of other things. So being a product manager of like a product is not different from being a product manager of like a Web 3.0 product. So just to re-emphasize, I would say data is always forever going to be relevant when it comes to like the trends in tech. AI, as well as 5G and cloud, they are definitely going to be very relevant. So are things to look out for. I feel like it's going to change the tone of jobs, tone in sense that when that comes to like JD, and even many years ago, I don't know, I was speaking with someone that works in the oil and gas firm. She's a senior leader in the oil and gas, and she was telling me they are giving them like a 6-month data training to do, and they have to do a test or exam before they can promote them, because some of these things that are no longer in job description, they are now there silently now. Say, oh, before you can be like a maybe strat and ops person, you must be able to use SQL, must be able to use Power BI. And like, many years ago, those were not like under JDs now. So my point is just re-emphasizing what literally everybody has said. As a tech person or someone who is interested in tech, we need to keep our ears down. And all these trends, you might not, just like Brian said, you might not get to like know everything like in detail, but I mean, they say explain this to a layman. You should be able to explain and know this is the process what they're trying to do with this new tech evolution and things like that. So yeah, thank you.
Right. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. I think even for the aspect of AI product management, I think I've seen a couple of job roles, AI, Web3. I have a product manager, a friend who is a product manager and is currently upskilling in Web3. So he's doing stuff around Web3 and blockchain because he feels that's like the future. Web3 is the future. So he knows there are a couple of opportunities that we kind of be coming up in a couple of, I think there are already opportunities out there, but there will be this boom of opportunities for Web3 product manager in a couple of months or in few years to come. And, people just want to better position themselves for opportunity as they arise. So yeah, I very much agree with you on that. So we are kind of past time. I could see a couple of questions coming up on Twitter and LinkedIn. But before then, I would just ask Vincent. So what do you believe are the key responsibilities of a product manager in a tech company? So, what are the key, what is the life of a product manager like in a company or in an organization? What do you do as a product manager? Thank you.
Yeah, okay. So I know our time is fast spent, so I'd probably just be a bit quick about this. But the two things I like to always say is define and empathize, right? Define and empathize, because a lot of what you're going to be doing is defining. You're defining as a PM, you're defining and championing the vision of the product. You're defining a vision that typically should stem down from the company vision. So if your company, your founders, your CEO say, hey, this is where we want to go, this is the future we're trying to paint, you distill that into the product, and the product itself should then have a vision and say, okay, this is what the product is going to be able to do in the next 2 years, 3 years, 4, 5 years, right? So you're going to be able to, you need to define the strategy, how you're going to approach that future, and how you're going to, deal with the obstacles along the way. And so defining the vision and the strategy. And then the second key thing is empathizing, right? If you go online, you're going to see like 101 things with respect to responsibilities of a product person, but two things I think are just at the core of everything. Empathizing is the most important thing for next, right? Because you have to be able to see the world from the eyes of your stakeholders, the eyes of your founders, the eyes of your CEOs, the eyes of your customers, the eyes of your engineers, the eyes of your QA people. And your job is to really coordinate all the activities across these different teams and ensure that everybody is working together to achieve the same objective. So you're really a leader, right? You're leading these teams in achieving the vision that you have laid out for the product. And everything around understanding your customer needs, monitoring your competition, monitoring the market, right? Be obsessed about your customers, be their voice, make sure that what you're building is going to make them happy, make them excel in their workplace or in their jobs that they're trying to get done. And ultimately just align everybody around this vision and take the necessary steps to, in summary, define product, define the vision, define the strategy. The strategy is everything: how you're going to make money, who you're going to serve, where you're going to operate, what you're not going to be doing, and then ultimately just ensure you have product market fit, which is like the point you get to where everybody is excited about using your product and everybody's using it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Vincent. I think this already clarifies what the role product management entails in summary. And a lot of people that kind of have this maybe kind of conflicting as to what product management is, I think they should be able to get clarifications from them. Yeah, so I'll just pass on the last question before taking up some of the questions we have across our live platforms. And please, if you are here on Zoom and you have questions, just raise your hand using the raise icon. I'm going to call you up to ask a question, or you can probably just drop it in the chat box, then we can take it up from there. So I'll pass this on to Brian, and that's with Andela. So many tech enthusiasts, or let me say folks in tech, know very much about Andela and how they help support talent development in Nigeria, across Africa, and I guess globally. So how does Andela support talent development, and what role do you see data science playing in the tech industry in the next 3 years? So I know Timiladi already gave some insight as to the importance and role of data, and how even as industry the tech industry kind of evolves, data is very, very, very important, very, very important. I think every role, every tech related role, or any role that relates to powering innovation would need data. Even myself, managing programs, managing learning initiatives for tech enthusiasts, tech talent, and even tech founders and startup entrepreneurs, we work around data to draw insights and also better create programs that we believe would help with talent development and also enterprise development here in Nigeria. So I would just like you to talk about the aspects of Andela, the model, how people that are looking to get into tech, how they can follow through with the Andela model, talent development, and what role do you see data science playing in the industry in the next 3 years? Thank you.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, thanks, Victor. So I'll also try and speak briefly because of time. So Andela in itself, like you already said, is quite popular in the technological ecosystem in Nigeria. They were around for a while, then they changed their model to more of a talent sourcing platform. So I will speak from experience. I feel Andela is actually a great company. And I'm not just saying it because of I worked there and everything. Bias aside, it's a company that gives a lot of technological talent in Nigeria, not only Nigeria, Africa, a platform to be connected to big companies and all these big tech companies, startups globally as well. Its process is actually streamlined to draw out the top tech talents within the country, and it's something that has been working out for years. So basically, this is how it works. I'll just go through the quick process. Andela has a standard page which they always encourage everyone to sign up for, no matter like what stage you are in. But I would advise it's best to actually have a bit of experience, not so much experience. You don't have to be a top level professional in that field before you apply on Andela, but you should have somewhat of an experience that will make the process much more easier for you to get into the talent network and everything. So it's a simple 3-step process. You take a coding test depending on what role you're looking for. In terms of, I think Andela just recently opened up product design. I'm not so certain if what the test would be there. I don't know if there's going to be much of coding there. But in terms of data science, software engineering, data engineering, and the likes, you take a coding test, you do a quite rigid technical interview with an industry expert. They always make sure they bring in top industry experts to the interview process to make sure they are kind of I think at that point is where your experience or your knowledge about your field comes to play. That's the point where they kind of a friend of mine says that's the point where they catch you if you're well versed in the field and all. So once you get past that point, basically you get into Andela. So what they're doing for Africa generally, I think is really great, because speaking from experience, and I know a lot of people out there, even people that are tuned into this right now, like you were speaking before about, your friend that can say, oh, Facebook earning big dollars, I want to earn dollars, foreign currency and all. It's not easy to get a remote job from Nigeria on LinkedIn and the rest. Most of the time, these companies they sieve their candidates based off their location. Even if you make it past the first stage, your location alone can just get you out of the system. So that bridge, Andela kind of bridges that gap and makes it a bit easier to have the opportunity to work for tech companies around the world and everything. So I would just say is a technological platform that gives upcoming talents, experienced talent as well, an opportunity to be exposed to companies around the world, to showcase their talent. Because to be honest, there's so much tech talent in Africa. There's so much. I've met a lot of really bright people, but most of the time there are not enough opportunities. Okay, Victor is off. I'll just keep on talking. There are not enough opportunities for the tech talent in Africa to show. Case that's for the community. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Thank you very, very much. Apologies, I think my network just dropped me off. Yeah, so I think we have time not on our side anymore, and our speakers have been so they've shared a lot of values with the community, and getting into tech and building a career in tech. So I'll just go on to the question and answers section. I could see someone asking what's the difference between product management and product marketing, and what's okay, yeah, the difference between product management and product marketing. I think I'll pass that to Tim Ladia Delacon. What's the like difference between product management and product marketing? What does the product management do that the product marketing do differently? Thank you.
Sorry, I didn't know I'd not muted myself. So the difference between like a product manager and a product marketer, let me start by saying the similarity, which was the major reason why I was working as a product manager before, and now I'm not working as a product marketer. The good thing is both of you are buddies. As a product marketer, as a product manager, you get to like work together. Typically in every company that has a tech company, a product manager and a product marketer get to work together. Now, the difference is now that to explain like to a layman, I would say that a product marketer is someone that actually brings the product to the market and make sure that it sells. But a product manager is the one that, with other team, like the software engineers and product designer, builds the product. It's one thing to build a very amazing product, but who communicates the value that, oh, this very beautiful pen, this pen can take you to heaven. That's the job of a product marketer. Explain to, if for example, this pen, the target audience from the design of the structure of the product is for, let's say, nursery school students. Let's say the goal of this pen is take nursery school students to heaven. So the job of the product marketer is to communicate the value in this pen I am holding, explain to that nursery school student that this pen, this is how you use it. You press it like this. Like that's your job as a product marketer, to explain the value in a particular product. But building the product from scratch, as well as bringing it to like its final state, that's the job of the product manager. So just to summarize, the product manager brings a product from maybe the beginning to its final state. And there's not really a final state ever, because customer keeps giving feedback and the product keeps evolving based on feedback from customer and maybe other tech trends. But a product manager keeps building while the product marketer keeps communicating the value and ensures that every audience, every target audience for that particular product understands the value system of that product. But I'll let Vincent, I think Vincent wants to add something, I guess.
Okay, yeah, Vincent would like to unmute. Okay.
Oh, no, it's fine. Temilade has succinctly defined the fundamental difference between the two roles.
Okay, great. Okay, yeah. So someone is asking us how can companies, I think I even have this in mind as one of the questions I wanted to ask. How can they retain and support tech talent here in Nigeria? There's a wave of Japa across, Nigeria and Africa to the Western country because they feel they are not well supported or well rewarded enough. So how do you think companies can better retain this tech talent? I think this is a question for those already in tech or those that are looking at getting into tech and being discouraged by the way they are being. So let me pass that to Brian. Yeah, let me pass that to Brian.
Yeah. Okay. So thanks, Vincent. Sorry, thanks, Victor. Yeah. So personally, I feel there are two things actually, two major things that I have seen through my own experience that I've seen people I know with great talent, leaving companies and, like you said, jackpotting abroad and everything. The first thing is I would say the personal growth. In terms of the company they are working for, top tech talents, they always almost have one thing in common. They look for places that they can continually grow. Once they start seeing this place isn't adding so much value to them anymore, career-wise, they are mentally not there anymore. So I would say my advice to especially in Nigeria right now, we have many startups popping up here and there up till now in Africa as a whole. My major advice would be to keep creating an enabling environment for these tech talents to continually grow in their roles. Many companies hire tech talents and they just let it be okay, just make this product for me, and they just let it be. They don't actually actively look for ways, mediums, attending seminars, attending technological conferences for their staff to keep on growing, even for the senior ones to keep speaking. Because what people don't know, public speaking is actually a form of self-learning for yourself as well. It can actually help you within your workplace when you're actually speaking to clients or speaking to maybe junior people within your role or even stakeholders in the company, things like that. So continually looking for that avenue to keep enriching your staff with that information, that knowledge to help them work is very key. And the second one, which is quite obvious, I mean, we all know, is the reward part. And this is something I've seen is actually the major reason for a lot of other people within the tech space to be jackpotting and all. So they kind of look at it as a risk and reward. So they look at most times their counterparts or people they feel they are even more experienced than over there, and they're like, wow, like comparing and contrast. Oh, this is my LinkedIn profile. Look at my achievements. Look at all I've built. Look at all I've done. This person just graduated and is already a software developer too in Microsoft or something like that. And I've been working for like 8 years and I'm here. So I have to go there to like match him in terms of reward and everything. So it's that kind of mindset. So I feel this might be a bit abstract, but I feel, especially with the new startups and new companies really setting up in Nigeria, there's actually what I've seen in the news, they actually get enough funding. Every day, I can't remember the year, I think it was 2021. Every single day, I was always seeing rounds being raised every single day. Every tech article you open, there were like millions of dollars, Series A, Series B, pre-seed. People were doing pre-seed in millions. That's how mad it was for the Nigerian tech ecosystem. But when you now interface with like, people who work in the tech sector in those companies, and you ask them, like, you see them complaining about, oh, guy, that money, I don't even see anything. It's just for news, bro. It doesn't even reach our hand, like things like that. So I feel if you're starting out a company or starting out, trying to help the tech ecosystem with your company, I mean, and yourself as well as the owner of the company, you need to look out for these things. That would be the best way. It's not just about getting the employees, it's about retaining them. These people that you started with, these people that have built your amazing product, when they leave, what happens? Okay, you think you can just hire any other person. Product handoffs are not that easy. So it's always best to have, even if you can't retain everybody, have at least some of the founding people on your team. Try as much as possible to reward them enough so that you can actually retain their knowledge, because their knowledge is very key. So that when you in the future you exit, like or you get acquired, for instance, like Paystack and all these things, some of their founding members are still there. I mean, it makes everybody happy, and it also puts the tech ecosystem higher, because that Paystack acquisition actually helped the Nigerian tech ecosystem a whole lot. Then we saw a more influx of investors, and that cycle continues. So yeah, those would be my major, my key points or key advices in terms of retaining.
Yeah. If I may for just 30 seconds, contribute to what Brian had said, how do you retain top talents? My answer would be you can't. It's practically difficult to compete with this. If you're a top talent, then you have skills that are wanted by people across the world, right? And for most companies, the technology budget is one of the heaviest already as it is in the entire organization. But that talent sees an opportunity to earn in a currency that, by the sheer value of the exchange rate, gives him 2x, 3x. How do you want to have that conversation with him to stay? So my advice would just be, or my contributory advice would be to move with the trends, right? People would rather have 2 gigs, right? Or have more flexibility in how they work than for you to expect a top talent to stay as a regular 9-to-5 in your organization. If he has the opportunity to sit in his house, wake up in the morning, 5 a.m., he's already adding value to his organization till 4 p.m. And then he has the energy to go to another gig and work for the next 5 hours. I think it's high time that starts being looked at as a normal thing, right? Gone are the days where people stick to the whole idea of I wake up 6, I enter traffic till 9, work till 6, enter traffic back home. So I think organizations should just look into that. And finally, there's the idea of stakes, right? People are more committed to things that they are part of. And if you tell a top talent that, hey man, let's build this, let's make this work. If it's successful, this is what you get. I think it's a lot more interesting than just saying, I'm paying you a salary, build it. When it's successful, I get all the glory. You continue to get your salary. I think it's just ways to get people to stay and believe in the dream. Just wanted to add that, and thanks.
Wow. Thank you very, very much, Brian. Thank you, Vincent, for that powerful contribution. It's been an enlightening, intriguing conversation so far, and I believe many of our audiences live across our social media platforms they've gotten a lot of value. I could see a couple of comments on our LinkedIn live. So to just round this up, apologies will take a bit of time, about 20 minutes past the proposed time for this conversation. But getting into tech or trying to advance a career in tech conversation is a conversation that really, because you're trying to get experience from 3 professionals, 3 experts in 3 different field: product marketing, product management, and data science. So it's something that there's a lot to share. There's really, really a lot to share. And one thing I would share with the audience is that you can't get everything in here from just this webinar. And the burden of the work is actually you. Like, you have the whole work to do as to, building a career in tech, or kickstarting a career in tech, or advancing your career as a tech professional already looking to advance. So the burden of the work is left to you. So at Eco Institute of Technology, this year we're very, very big on talent development. Very, very, very big on talent development. Eco Institute of Technology started as a Eco Innovation School, part of the learning initiative with Eco Innovation Center. And now we're having it as a separate learning entity as Eco Institute of Technology. And we are looking at even offering diploma courses in second quarter. So we are looking at a model that we feel will be very, very sustainable for talent development in Nigeria. And that would be upskilling and also providing opportunities for young people. So we are looking at, okay, we train you for 6 months, and we also place you with some of our partner firms to do your internship for 6 months. So it's not just going to learn and at the end of the day, you are unable to utilize what you've learned, or you are able to have like hands-on experience on what you've learned. So we are shifting from that approach. Our last data analytics training program, we trained a couple of people, and currently some of them are doing their internship. We also had a product green training program in partnership with A4T Power Solutions, product green, and some of them are commencing their 6 months to 1 year internship program with partner firms. So we are looking at those models and all of that. And we have a lot of programs rolled out for the year. So I know many of you've been hearing product management, product marketing, data science on the call, and you're like, it seems like I'll be interested in product management. So if you're interested in joining our product management program, you can go on our website, ecoinstituteoftechnology.com/product management, register for the program. The cohort is coming up this month for product management and product design. We also have our next cohort for the data analytics, data science program coming up in a couple of months. You can also just sign up for now, and when the next cohort comes up, you are able to be a part of the program. So we are very, very big on talent development, and we've devised a lot of models to ensuring that young people out there are able to get into the field seamlessly. So we know there are a lot of barriers like funding. A lot of people don't have the funds to enroll for a tech training program. We've devised solution for that. We know there are aspects of maybe internet, electricity, and all of that. We've been able to, make some of these provisions available for our learners to ensure that, they are able to get all the necessary resources to get into tech. And even our webinars, we have these webinars every month whereby we invite subject matter experts, professionals in tech, to help inspire, motivate, people to get into this field. And the reason for this is that, looking at the trend now, a lot of jobs are shifting into, the use of technology. So a lot of people need to upskill. So we have some people even working at the bank come into a Eco Institute of Technology, register for a data science program. Reason because they felt like, they needed to, upskill themselves to be able to get a promotion, or to be able to survive their current job or their current career. So it's a very, very big conversation going on out there to come into tech and all of that. So it's been a pleasure hosting Timilade, Brian, and Vincent, and I hope to host you for other programs we have at Eco Innovation Center, Eco Institute of Technology. And to our audience, thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you for joining in. Okay, I think I can see Timilade raising a hand. Okay, you can go on if you have something to share.
I thought we would be allowed to give last words. But I mean, I could give on behalf of everyone, if my co-panelists don't mind. But I think that I just want to re-emphasize some of the things we have said, as if you've not taken any other thing from everything we've said, at least these few words of mine, take it with you. Based on what we've all said, we believe that a career in tech is a career that has no boundaries, and there are a couple of jobs and opportunities in the tech ecosystem. It's a very huge ecosystem. So what you need to do to either start or to advance yourself is to know yourself and know what you want, do your research, connect your skills and the future you have in mind to the path you want to take. Ask people presently in the roles you're interested in, ask them questions, join communities, have like an online presence, build projects, talk about the project you have worked on, and be very consistent. Be consistent because it's not a very smooth journey. Once in a while, you might be discouraged, but I mean, keep pushing, just keep pushing, keep talking about what you do, keep posting about it. And we are really rooting for each and every one of you on this call. And thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you very much for that last word. I think that's very inspirational. I myself, I'm really inspired. Yeah, so thank you very much, Tim Ladi. I don't know if Brian and Vincent have any last words to share before we bring these to a close.
Yeah, thanks. If I may, I think I write on the words that Tim Ladi has shared, everything that we have said. I'm happy this is a recorded session because you can always go back to glean from the ideas and thoughts that we shared. And the idea is these things are findable out there. Feel free to reach out to any of us. If you have questions to ask, if you have comments, clarifications you want to make, like a guide that you're trying to think about, well, how do I do what I want to do? And I'm pretty sure that we'll be generous enough to reach out to you and share further knowledge from this. And finally, just big shout out to my team at Jabu. You guys have been really supportive, and God bless. Thanks.
Yeah, amazing one. Brian?
Yeah, just to add to what my two really bright co-panelists have said. In fact, they've said everything. I'm just doing this just so I'm not the only one that they speak. But yeah, it's so just generally a little take-home advice. Always try, just keep trying. I would just say keep trying. It's definitely going to get overwhelming sometimes. That's what most people don't tell you. It's never going to be easy. You just have to keep working hard. Always try to remember why you started in the first place. Like Tim Ladi talked about it. It can be money. It can be money, but also have just always never forget why you started. Always just be open to learn, socialize, talk to people, join communities, use your LinkedIn, use all as many platforms as heck, you can even use Twitter as well. Twitter is also a great source. But just always keep asking questions and reach out to us as well, like Vincent also said. And yeah, I would say all in all, enjoy the ride because it's a long road. So you just have to enjoy the process. So, thank you.
All right. Yeah, thank you very, very much to all our panelists. It's indeed a great pleasure to host you guys on this series of AIT webinar. And yeah, thanks to everyone that's joined this section to hear from our amazing panelists. Yeah. So thank you very much. And I look forward to having our participants be a part of our forthcoming webinars as well. It's our own job, it's our own ministry to evangelize tech and ensure that we are able to help you with the journey to getting into tech, advancing your career in tech, and just creating a kind of platform that many people can help upskill themselves and also reskill themselves as well. Yeah, so thank you everyone. Have a great weekend, have a great evening.